GETTYBoth Sturgeon and Carwyn Jones hinted a more positive note in proceedings. The First Minister struck a more positive note after another round of talks with Mrs May in Downing Street. Her Welsh counterpart Carwyn Jones, who also attended the summit, hinted a deal over the Prime Minister's EU withdrawal bill could be reached within days. Whitehall has been at loggerheads with the devolved administrations for more than a year. The bill, which will transpose EU law into UK law after Brexit, has been branded a power grab by both Scottish and Welsh governments. Mrs May, however, has vowed to press ahead with the legislation and defended her refusal to give further ground to the SNP. Theresa May is apparently standing ground that no other concessions will be given. The issues that remain between us are not insignificant, but neither are they insurmountable. Nicola Sturgeon speaking as she emerged from number 10 megaseconds. Sturgeon said, "The issues that remain between us are not insignificant, but neither are they insurmountable." The government has named 24 devolved policy areas where it wishes to retain power temporarily after Britain's exit from the bloc, to allow for UK-wide common frameworks to be set. These include agriculture and fisheries. It insists that the vast majority of those EU powers returning from Brussels will be controlled by Edinburgh, Cardiff and Belfast from day one of Brexit. But the Scottish and Welsh governments argue Westminster would have a veto over some of the responsibilities. Ms Sturgeon insisted it was a very important matter of principle. She said the UK government's concern was that Holyrood could withhold consent unreasonably, and there is discussion to be had to give assurances that wouldn't be the case. It's a matter of trust, she said, but added, "We are having to trust the UK government a lot in terms of other matters associated with the Brexit discussions. I think a deal can be done. There is still some way to go, but there is a willingness, indeed a determination, to see if we can get there, while the lack of a deal would not prevent the legislation from passing. Forcing it through without Edinburgh and Cardiff's consent could spark a constitutional crisis." Mr Jones said, "I'm hopeful we will be in a position where that will be possible in the next few days, no more than a week or two. I would say time is running out, but we are not there yet." GETTYBoth Sturgeon hoped a solution could be reached, but that there are still a ways to go. The UK government insists it has moved considerably from its original position, while Mrs May has declared any agreement must strengthen the union. The talks came after opposition MSPs forced through changes to the Scottish government's stopgap version of the legislation. SNP ministers were accused of attempting their own power grab, as plans to keep Scottish laws tied to the EU for up to 15 years were watered down. MSPs on the Finance and Constitution Committee spent a second night scrutinising the continuity bill with more than 230 amendments tabled. Presiding officer Ken McIntosh has ruled the bill is out with Holyrood's legislative competence and risks a Supreme Court challenge.